The Princess and the 11 Swans. Once upon a time, there lived a king who had 11 sons and one daughter named Eliza. All of his children were intelligent and quick learners. They lived happily in a castle until one day, feeling lonely after the loss of his wife, the king decided to remarry. A grand celebration was held, and the children eagerly awaited their new stepmother. They hoped she would be kind, but their hopes were dashed. Their new stepmother was a wicked sorceress who treated them cruelly. She plotted to get rid of the king's children, and, to carry out her evil plan, sent Eliza to live with a peasant and his wife. She spread malicious lies about the princes, causing the king to banish them from the castle. Seizing her opportunity, the wicked queen cast a spell on the princes, saying, "You shall live the rest of your lives as ugly, mute birds. Fly away now." But because the princes were kind-hearted, they were transformed into beautiful swans instead of ugly birds, and flew away from the castle. Eliza was heartbroken and missed her brothers dearly. When she turned 15, she was allowed to return to the castle to see the king. The queen was jealous of Eliza's beauty and pretended to be kind. When Eliza arrived, the queen said, "Welcome, dear. Let us go to my room. I have a gift for you. I will apply a special ointment to your face and hair to protect you from evil eyes." The ointment was a trick. It made Eliza appear hideous. When the king saw her, he was horrified and said, "My daughter cannot be so ugly. Take her away. I never want to see her again." Eliza was banished from the castle and began searching for her brothers. She wandered into a forest and found a small lake. After washing the ointment from her face, she was beautiful once more. The forest was dark and dense, and as night fell, Eliza found herself lost. She heard footsteps and hid, but then she saw an old woman. The old woman asked, "Are you lost, child?" Eliza nodded, and the old woman gave her some berries to eat. When Eliza asked if she had seen any princes, the old woman replied, "No, dear, but I did see some swans with crowns on their heads swimming in the river. Perhaps you could find them there." Eliza thanked the old woman and followed the river bank. As the sun set, she saw 11 beautiful swans swimming towards the shore. They stood near her, and when the sun disappeared below the horizon, they were transformed back into princes. Overjoyed, Eliza cried, "Brothers, I've found you! I'm Eliza!" One of the princes explained that the queen had turned them into swans, and they could only transform back into human form at sunset. They planned to return to the castle the next day and asked Eliza to join them. The next morning, the princes transformed into swans and asked Eliza to sit on a net, which they carried in their beaks. They flew high above the clouds, and Eliza enjoyed the breathtaking view. They landed near a cave and spent the night. Eliza had a dream of a fairy who looked like the old woman she had met in the forest. The fairy said, "Eliza, I know what troubles you. You want to break the spell on your brothers, don't you?" Eliza nodded. "To do so," the fairy continued, "you must be patient and brave. If you can endure the pain, I will tell you how to break the spell." Eliza vowed to do whatever it took. "It will be painful," the fairy warned. "Are you sure you want to continue?" Eliza nodded resolutely. The fairy explained, "There is a thorny plant growing near the cave. You must gather it, grind it into thread, and weave 11 coats. Cast the coats over the swans, and the spell will be broken. But remember, you must not speak a single word from the beginning to the end of this task. If you do, your brothers will die." Eliza woke up and realized it wasn't a dream. She went out to gather the thorny plant, enduring the pain. A kind mouse helped her grind the plant and weave the coats. Her brothers tried to comfort her, but she remained silent. One day, while gathering the plant, Eliza was discovered by a handsome prince. He was captivated by her beauty and took her to his castle. Despite her sadness, she continued her task even in the castle. As she was almost finished with the last coat, she ran out of the plant. She sneaked out of the castle and went to the graveyard near the castle to gather more. A guard caught her and accused her of witchcraft. The prince, heartbroken, ordered her to be exiled to a distant island. As she was being taken away, the prince gave her the remaining coats. On the ship, she finished the last coat. Just as the ship was about to sail, the 11 swans flew to the ship and landed around her. She cast the coats over them, and they were transformed back into princes. The prince, realizing his mistake, apologized to Eliza and asked for her forgiveness. They married and lived happily ever after. The wicked queen was punished for her evil deeds, and the kingdom rejoiced in the happiness